Well, glad to be back again. We have another video here in our continuing saga about the sheriff's race. There has been something that has been swept under the rug more so than not, and it's going to be a real interesting subject here. And I believe that for those of you who are resistant to listening to what we're saying, I'm hoping you will back up and see the forest here. I think if you're too close, you just see the trees, you miss the forest. There's a big picture here. Last video, we talked about the proof, the facts behind the retaliatory actions of Dale towards citizens, towards some employees, previous employees that have talked to us. There has been talk about a lawsuit. And I don't know if you ever heard about this, but a federal lawsuit, civil rights lawsuit. It so happens that somebody has been accused of breaking the law and violating the Fourth Amendment at minimum of our Constitution, our federal Constitution. Now, I thought about it. I've heard often that we have 72 counties in the state of Wisconsin. That means there's 72 sheriffs. And we have all these municipalities, all these cities that have chief of police. And we have all the police force for all the counties and all the cities and all the municipalities. How many of these hundreds and hundreds of police men and women do you hear about in a civil rights lawsuit because they violated someone's constitutional rights and or broke the law, violated a law? And I was thinking, I haven't heard of too many. Maybe you haven't heard of any, but there is one that we're going to talk about today. And this is the one that is filed against our sheriff, Dale Schmidt, and our district attorney, Kirk Klomberg, as well as an investigator, which we'll talk about, and a nice official or two. Isn't it interesting that our constitutional sheriff, I mean, he talks so strong constitutionally, and people believe he is strong constitutionally, and he has done things that make one think that he is a strong constitutional sheriff, but why is he the sheriff that is being served with this lawsuit? Now, it is true that the lawsuit was dismissed a while back by a young federal lawyer, but it has been appealed, and that appeal has been filed. It is not dead. And we heard the news that it was dismissed, and Dale put a post out that he has been exonerated because of this. Why was it appealed? What was the reasoning behind it? Have you ever heard of I forget the name again, Ashley. Rights. Miranda rights. Have you ever heard of the Miranda rights? How did that come into being? Miranda was arrested. He was guilty as sin of crimes, but the police forgot to read him his rights. And because of that, he was released. Was he vindicated then? Was he innocent? And that's the point we're making here. This lawsuit was dismissed, but nothing was looked at. It wasn't decided if it was true or false. There was no discovery ever taken on anything in this lawsuit. It has now been appealed, and the defendants have a little while yet to answer this appeal. But I thought it'd be interesting to go through this lawsuit and this appeal just to give you an idea what might be going on here. So we have the DA, the sheriff, and a Dodge County employee investigator named along with an ICE official. And the accusations in this lawsuit, which was presented by Salepria Makri, who had been working in the sheriff's office for 3-4 years, we'll get to that too, helping defense attorneys with some cases that came up where there was crimes committed and it was because of drug addiction. And Selepri Amakri was helping these people get over those drug addictions. They were just thrown into jail, excuse me, just thrown into jail and you better get over this. He was actually helping with a business he had started. But this lawsuit, and we'll get through some of the details here, and I don't have it all down here. We will have a link for you to go to see it for yourself. But they are accused of destroying the plaintiff's business. They were accused of driving or trying to drive him out of Dodge County, all illegally. Also, there was Lieutenant Tom Paulson, P-O-L-S-I-N, and he was involved in this too. He was the individual who invited Selepri under false pretenses to the sheriff's office on the day he was arrested, as the claim says, unlawfully. And Dale Schmidt is the one that evidently lined that up. So the ICE officer arrested Selepri. There was no lawful purpose. There was no lawful or reasonable purpose, according to this lawsuit, for that. It was all based upon unverified hearsay. This is an interesting piece of paper that we're reading. So in February of 2017, just have a few dates here I want to talk to you about to get an idea of the timing of what happened here. Sheriff Schmidt asked if he could discuss professional jail visitation rights with Selepri. Why was that? 3 months prior to that, those visitation rights had been discontinued. So Selepri wasn't coming to the jail anymore. The lawsuit contends that under false pretenses, with this reasoning, they asked him to come to discuss these privileges of visitation. And when he got there, something else happened. He had, as I have written down here, Amakri had helped others overcome their drug addictions. And he had been refused access since December of 2016. So this was February of 2017 when he was invited to come to the sheriff's office. Amakri had been giving assistance to Dodge County criminal defense lawyers. Lawyer Meyer, I believe, was the one in particular, and because drugs are often involved in crimes. So the sheriff's, as it states in this lawsuit, the sheriff's insincere invitation in February of 2017 to discuss those privileges were deceitful and, he says, well calculated. A well calculated incentive to get Amakri to come. Sheriff Schmidt, it says in this lawsuit, conspired with ICE officials in this unlawful arrest that eventually took place with Lieutenant Paulson. Here's what's interesting also. He was arrested, but he was not charged with a crime, and he was not guilty of committing a crime, but he was arrested anyhow. Now, this is our constitutional sheriff involved here along with ICE officials in some sort of business with Selepri Amakri. In an email that Dale Schmidt put out the day after Amakri was arrested, he put it out to 31 local judges, police chiefs, and others. And in this memo, he stated that he had no evidence at this time to proceed with any criminal investigation. He admitted that to all these people. And that's in the complaint C, pages 1 to 7, paragraphs 55 to 64, document 70. This is all documented in that lawsuit. He said he has nothing to go on right now. Catch that. Now, there is some uncertainty of the meaning of the events surrounding this arrest. This goes back quite a few years and in his relationship with Dodge County. Selepri had been under an order of removal from a Judge Vinicor. But Selepri had appealed the order, and a Seventh Circuit stayed the removal order against Selepri. So he was not ordered out of the country. The appeal stopped that. Now, there were not just that one judge, but there were other judges that agreed with this. Many times you can stay a removal, but you still can get arrested. But there was an agreement and a ruling that stated that Amakri could remain free. And this was by the immigration judge Vinicor. 3 judges at the Board of Immigration Appeals agreed with this. And the ICE lawyer, whose name was Lundgren, also did not complain about this. So it was an accepted fact that Amakri could remain at, how would you say it, free while this appeal was going on. That removal order was held in abeyance during the appeal process. All Amakri had to do was come to any appointments and any judicial, any appointments with the courts. He had to attend all those court sessions that he was required to do, and he did that. He kept everything good. So what happened is, when he was invited in, according to this complaint, he was invited in to the sheriff's office on that day in February of 2017 to discuss visitation, but the ICE official happened to be there. Sheriff Schmidt had no authority to conspire to make the arrest that was made, no authority to hold him in jail. He basically made this arrangement with the ICE officials in what the lawsuit says was in an illegal manner. As stated before, 4 judges ruled that Amakri could remain free from custody during the appeal. The immigration judge, 3 judges at the Board of Immigration Appeals in Chicago, the 7th Circuit Court judge, no objection from the lawyer Lundgren. So all agreed that Amakri could remain free from custody during this, and ICE official Krien, Kriehn, and Sheriff Schmidt colluded together, it states here, to bring him in, to question him a little bit, and then to make the arrest, at which time he was put in jail without charges. Here's where it's getting kind of crazy, right? No charges. Dodge County officials participated at the beginning and end of this whole ordeal, according to this appeal, and watched the ICE officials do the dirty work. Why didn't our sheriff, who is so constitutionally minded, recognize that there's a problem here? There's a violation of some constitutional rights. Why didn't he take action? He then contacted Lieutenant Polson, P-O-L-S-I-N. He detailed him to email ICE officials in February of 2017. This was to bring the ICE official in to arrest Amakri, according to this complaint. The appeal that I have, and you can get a hold of, that I have read, names Sheriff Schmidt and District Attorney Kirk Klomberg in this matter very strongly. Number 1, they're listed as defendants that conspired to defame Amakri, that conspired to destroy his business and conspired to interfere in his marriage. It's all in there. Why? Evidently because of a personal feud or a personal vendetta over professional differences. See, Amakri was helping people overcome their drug addictions. And according to this complaint, our district attorney was the head of another state program that he wanted to use to do it. And he, according to the lawsuit, was paid a lot more when he used that program than when Amakri came in and did his work. from what I've read, that state program is now defunct. It didn't work. Makri had an 80% success rate according to his statistics. So there was a case in 2014 that he was working on, and that's when a relationship between him and Kurt Klomberg went south. It went bad because they had a disagreement. After that point in time, according to the complaint, our district attorney tried to dissuade people from hiring a Makri to help them or their family member with a drug addiction. So in 2013, if we go back now 5 years, Sleppery came to Dodge County. He worked with a defense attorney, Meyer, M-A-Y-E-R. He informed the sheriff of his background and credentials to help in this type of work. He requested in 2013 from the sheriff, Dale Schmidt. Was he there yet? Hang on, let's do some math here. 2022, 2018, 2014. So that wasn't Dale Schmidt yet. He requested professional and jail visitations in 2013 and 2014. Consult with attorneys in cases involving drug addiction matters. The sheriff granted the privilege. Now, in December of 2016, 3 years later, privileges were terminated. Sheriff Schmidt sent an email to the district attorney on December 1st, 2016, and stated this, according to this lawsuit: Kurt, I spoke with the jail staff, and they are going to make the necessary adjustments regarding Sleppery, so he will have to be on the visitors list. Respectfully, Sheriff Dale J. Schmidt. See, before that, he could come in as a professional visitor. Now he had to be on a visitation list. They were cutting him off from that privilege. So the complaint and appeal question why he would have sent the district attorney that information unless they were talking about it sometime. Now, Sleppery's complaint brings forward more contradicting facts leading to his arrest, up to his arrest. January of 2017. Now, this is 2 to 3 months after his visitation privileges had been withdrawn. Sheriff Schmidt assigned an investigator named Robert Newman to conduct a background investigation on Sleppery. Why? Well, let's make a determination about his professional jail privileges. That's what he was supposed to investigate. Why, Sleppery asks, did he call on this investigator to look into that 3 months after his jail privileges had been withdrawn? 2 months after, 2 to 3 months after they are already withdrawn, Dale Schmidt decided to investigate it. Remember, at this point in time, he still didn't have any charges to hold Sleppery in jail for. Holding someone in jail for 2 to 3 months already with no charges? Talk about constitutional rights and liberty and lawfulness. We have to ask these questions. Nobody looked at these facts because it was dismissed, but yet not for the right reasons. So the investigator Newman filed his report in February of 2017. Does that date ring a bell? That was 6 days prior to the ICE official coming, when Sleppery was coming to do his interview with Dale Schmidt. Investigator Newman filed his report and came up with 2 basic charges, it says. It stated that he had an alias. He didn't have an alias. It stated that he was accused of some perversion, some perversive activity, and he was not. They couldn't get anybody to admit to that who they thought would have been involved. But they needed something to keep him in jail over. They needed to have him arrested for some reason. They couldn't find it. He was arrested anyway. No charges. Now, March of 2017, Sheriff Schmidt rehired Detective Robert Newman, and then also assigned Detective Michael Reisman for a job, another job. They tried to dig up some criminal activity on Immokalee. This was because he was still in jail. Was he charged with anything? No, but he was still in jail. They tried to dig up, according to this complaint, some inappropriate relations with clients. It didn't work. They interviewed these clients. They said, no, it didn't happen. But he was still in jail, held with no charges. Sheriff Schmidt called Celepri's wife, suggested that she divorce Celepri because he's a bad guy. You'd think a wife would know what kind of man she married, right? But Sheriff Schmidt said, you know what? You made a mistake. He's a bad person. You should divorce him. He offered to come to her home to show her the proof. She refused. He offered to have her come to the office so he could show her the proof. She refused. After about 2 months later, according to this lawsuit, he called again and tried to do the same thing. And his wife said no. She refused. After 6 months being in jail, 6 months, no charges yet, according to this complaint, according to this lawsuit, he was still there, but a new judge somehow got a hold of his case and looked through everything. He wasn't happy. He ordered Celepri's release immediately. Because at first when he saw it, he thought, well, he's probably been in jail maybe 2 weeks or so, so it looks like there's really no need to keep him there. You should release him. Has he been in jail 2 weeks or so? And the lawyer said, well, not exactly, or something like that. He's been in jail over 6 months. That did not go over well with that judge. He ordered him. The judge was outraged from what I hear. He ordered him released. The sheriff, I believe, knew that the sheriff was in trouble here. So the police contacted his wife to pick Celepri up. We got to get him out of here. She was in Chicago a couple hours away. She couldn't get there. They couldn't wait. They had policemen coming in his cell, helping him pack up. They escorted him out. They took him away and took him home. Lickety-split. Why do you think they did that? If they didn't do anything wrong, there was nothing to run from, right? That is a little mysterious to me. They couldn't wait for his wife to get there to get him. They had to get him out immediately because that judge was not happy, from what I've been told. The deputies helped him get out of there. I was a little disappointed when I came across all this, and I have talked to Celepri about this too. And he isn't happy about it either, but what could he do? But he's out now. He's free. And he filed this lawsuit because of so much wrong that was committed against him by our Dodge County officials, is what he says. Our constitutional sheriff violated his Fourth Amendment right at minimum, plus conspired to get him arrested illegally because there was no order out there to get him out of the country. It was all still held in abeyance because of his appeal. And if they would have done any kind of searching, they would have found that out. And they held on to him for 6 months, according to this, to try to dig something up to get it to stick. And if you read the lawsuit, those words are going to come and ring in your ear. We have to get this to stick. That's not going about the right way. Aren't we supposed to be innocent until proven guilty? We aren't put in jail and held there so that we can give ourselves some time to find something to keep you there. This is evidently what happened to Celepri. Now, as it turned out, we have a civil rights lawsuit here, and it's still around. Our sheriff, Dale Schmidt, is still named in it. Our district attorney, Kurt Klomberg, is still named in it. The ICE official is named in it. There are some investigators from Dodge County that are named in it. we have a real problem here, and I think it just behooves Dodge County to see this through. Let's look at the facts. Let's see if this really happened. Let's take this to discovery where the prosecution can pull information out and find out what really happened. Even more so than they know now. So watch, let's continue to watch this. Let's continue to watch what happens here. The sheriff is not vindicated, and I know you want to believe him, but as I read this, and I see what happened, and I see why it was dismissed, I'm saying, if you read it, you will see that he is not vindicated here either. We have to follow through on this. Justice is supposed to be blind, right? Well, I think we should bring Celebrity in for an interview. Wouldn't you like to meet him? We're going to work on that. We will contact him, and maybe our next video or maybe 2 videos from now, we'll see how it goes. We'll bring Celebrity in here, and we'll let him tell his story too on what's going on. All I know is it is our responsibility as the citizens of Dodge County to hold our elected officials responsible to their positions, jobs, and responsibilities. And just because someone states that they're constitutionally sound and stand for civil rights, once you get a lawsuit like this saying you didn't do it, you have to stand back and let's look at this, everybody. Let's look at this. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if we can get that together for you. I just thought it'd be interesting to just quickly go through this. There's a lot more details that we haven't touched on, but that's just this in a nutshell. Thanks for coming around and listening again, and we'll keep in touch. Bye now.